I've reviewed the OnePlus Open and so far compared it with the Galaxy Z Fold 5 and the Google Pixel Fold. In both cases, I've found that while competing devices are great, the OnePlus Open is the best foldable out there right now. But there's another foldable out there that's worth comparing with the OnePlus Open, the to-be-released global model of the Honor Magic V2. The Magic V2 is notable for being incredibly thin, making for a very premium feeling device that's about as thick as a standard slab phone when it's folded up, somewhat astonishingly. So does the Honor Magic V2 really pose a challenge to the very nice OnePlus Open? I've used both quite a lot, and I put the two head to head to find out. If you like this video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It really helps support my work and I'd appreciate that support. The design of these two phones is perhaps one of the most interesting things about them, especially in the case of the Honor Magic V2. The Magic V2, as mentioned, is incredibly thin, to the point where the device feels about as thick as a standard slab phone when it's folded up. It's really pretty remarkable. When folded up, the Magic V2 is only 9.9mm and a tiny 4.7mm thick when unfolded. In contrast, the OnePlus Open is 5.8mm when unfolded, which is still impressive, but not as thin as the Honor device. And add in that mammoth camera module, and the Open is obviously much thicker. Still, despite the thin build, both the Honor and the Magic V2 offer nice looking designs with premium builds. I really like the flat edges on the Open compared to the Magic V2, and I don't mind the huge camera module. Speaking of the camera module, on the Magic V2 it is a little boring, a rectangular module that could look normal on any phone. Some will prefer its more understated look compared to the Open, of course, but I still find it boring. Both the OnePlus Open and the Magic V2, in my opinion, have the perfect foldable form factor in 2023. I don't love the candy bar shape of the Galaxy Z Fold 5, with its too thin design, and while I do prefer the Pixel Fold shape to the Z Fold 5, phones like the OnePlus Open and Honor Magic V2 beat both of them. I like a foldable device that kind of looks and feels like a regular slab phone when it's folded up, and both of these phones achieve that. Other aspects of the design are to be expected. There's a USB-C port on the bottom of both phones, along with a volume rocker and a power button on the edges. The OnePlus Open adds a ringer switch, which is a nice touch. Both phones feel relatively durable and premium, including when folding and unfolding the devices. Neither of the two has a hinge that feels as strong as that on the Pixel Fold, and both of the phones don't hold at all angles, but that's not a huge deal. While I do like the overall look of the OnePlus Open a little better, you just can't beat that super thin build of the Honor Magic V2. That's why the Magic V2 gets the win in the design category. Moving on to the displays, and both phones offer an excellent display experience. The front display on the Honor Magic V2 is 6.43 inches, with a 120Hz refresh rate and a 1060 by 2376 resolution, and a peak brightness of 2500 nits. The front display on the Open is a little smaller, at 6.31 inches, with a higher resolution of 2484 by 1116, a refresh rate that ranges from 10 to 120Hz, and a peak brightness of 2800 nits. In other words, the display on the Open is a little smaller, but it gets brighter and has a higher resolution. The interior displays are nice too. On the Magic V2, you'll get a nice sized 7.92-inch display with a 2156 by 2344 resolution and a 120Hz refresh rate. The peak brightness is 1600 nits. On the Open, on the other hand, there's a 7.82-inch display with a 2440 by 2268 resolution and a display that can range from 1 Hz to 120 Hz. It has a higher peak brightness of 2800 nits. Again, the OnePlus Open's display is smaller, but not by much, and it gets brighter and has a higher resolution. The displays on the OnePlus Open are slightly smaller, but again, both have excellent screens. Still, because of the slightly better quality, this category goes to OnePlus. Then there's performance, and they both actually perform more or less the same. Both devices offer a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor with a 16GB of RAM, and both can handle everything that you can throw at them in 2023. They multitask with ease, load games quickly, and so on. I'm not going to focus on the performance too much because the phones perform the same. The performance category is a tie. Next up is battery life, and it's another area where the phones perform similarly. Both devices are able to get you through a full day of relatively heavy use, and while you won't get through a second day, most users who can charge up at night won't have major issues with the battery life. The OnePlus Open did last a little longer in my battery test, but in day-to-day life, I don't think most will notice much of a difference. The charging experience is the same too. The OnePlus Open supports 67-watt wired charging, while the Honor Magic V2 supports 66-watt wired charging. And in 2023, neither of the devices support wireless charging, which is hugely disappointing. The difference in battery life and charging between these two devices is negligible. This one's a tie. The camera experience isn't that close though. The Honor Magic V2 offers a triple camera array with a 50 megapixel main camera, a 20 megapixel telephoto camera with 2.5x optical zoom, and a 50 megapixel ultrawide camera. The OnePlus Open also has a triple camera array with a 48 megapixel main camera, a 64 megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom, and a 48 megapixel ultrawide camera. Really, while at first glance the specs might be similar, the OnePlus Open actually has a more versatile camera. On its own, the 3x optical zoom on the OnePlus Open might be a little better than the Honor Magic V2's 2.5x optical zoom. But the Open supports 6x lossless zoom by employing a sensor crop, allowing the device to zoom further without any loss in detail. The camera quality is better too though. The OnePlus Open produces more vibrant, more detailed images overall. That's not to say that the Magic V2 doesn't perform decently well, but it's not as consistent overall, and I generally felt like I could rely on the OnePlus Open to capture better photos. The OnePlus Open gets the win in the camera category. Next up is the software experience, and as you might expect, the two phones take a slightly different approach. The Magic V2's software isn't bad, and offers some handy multitasking features like split screen. But I generally found the OnePlus Open software to be a little more polished. It has an app bar at the bottom for quick app switching, and it lets you add a third app to the mix, which can be tucked away to be pulled out when you need it. Generally, the software felt a little more customizable and usable overall. The software category goes to OnePlus. The Honor Magic V2 has a lot going for it. It boasts a great design and a pretty good battery life, though I do wish it supported wireless charging. But the OnePlus Open is just better. It's not as thin, but it still has a great design. And it has slightly better displays, a better camera, and better software. The end result? The OnePlus Open is the best foldable phone out there right now. It successfully went up against the likes of the Galaxy Z Fold 5, the Pixel Fold, and the Magic V2, and beat them all. That's not to say that you'll be disappointed with the Magic V2. On the contrary, it's a great phone. But if you can buy the OnePlus Open, it's a better device. You can get the OnePlus Open for yourself using the link in the description. Thanks again for watching this video. My name is Christian, and I'll see you next time. See ya.